My mother's name is Hortense Doreen Hall. She was a beautiful Jamaican who moved to England in the early 1960s, like so many others, in search of a new life for herself and her family. She was a creative, a seamstress, a pattern maker. And her glamorous work could be seen on the stage of Miss World, on top models, and on rock stars' wives. But what I remember most about my mom wasn't her talent, it was her joy. It was a deep, radiant joy that was shared with everyone around her. It was infrastructure. It created community and safety for those around her. As I was growing up, I used to think my mom was weak. She endured some things that no one should ever have to go through, including years of domestic violence, until she found the courage and the strength to save herself and her 4 children. I realize now that her joy was her strength. It was her resistance. It was her way of saying, "You will not take my light." Somewhere along the way, we've lost that kind of strength. We channel success. We've traded position and peace for productivity. The World Health Organization now describes burnout as a syndrome categorized by chronic workplace stress that has been unsuccessfully managed. And the latest global Gallup survey actually indicates that more than 50% of employees worldwide experience high stress on a daily basis. We are producing, but not flourishing. And when people burn out, communities can also burn out, especially those that are already under-resourced. Exhausted leaders cannot ignore the future. Families who are running on fumes can't build a legacy. And a people without joy forget what freedom is like. Joy is a renewable, sustainable, transferable energy source. Let me tell you my definition of joy. Joy is a deep, sustaining strength that is grounded in faith, and regardless of circumstance, it radiates through connection, purpose, and truth. So we've all heard of the IQ, the intelligence quotient. That measures the mind, how we think and how we reason. And the emotional quotient, the EQ. I think that measures the heart. It's really about how we connect to our emotions, connect to each other, and how we build relationships. But what about the JQ, the joy quotient? The JQ can measure how we thrive, and we don't measure it on a standardized test. We can't measure it on paper. It's measured in evidence. It's resilience. It's authenticity. It's how joy shows up when we live, build, and grow together. So the joy quotient is a framework to help us to define and align who we are, how we show up, and how we build together. This framework is built on an acronym, JOY. So let's start with the letter J. Just be you. It sounds so simple. This is about authenticity. I want us to think for a moment about the messages that we've received and have been ingrained in us over time. And I'm talking about those little sayings, those words, those jokes that we've heard when that family member came over for dinner. It's what we're hearing and seeing on social media and in the news. Those messages influence how we see ourselves and what we think about ourselves. But those messages can also influence how we see and connect and relate to others. But it's not just messages, it's also about masks. I have worn the mask of perfection. Maybe some of you are familiar with that one. Feels like you have everything together. Everything looks just right so that no one can see what's really going on. Or the mask of pleasing, saying yes to everybody because you don't want to disappoint anyone. Or how about that mask of power, when you show up tough so no one will see the cracks? Just be you is permission. It's permission for you to analyze and think about the messages that you've received over time. It's permission for us to analyze those, but also to say, I can choose differently. It's permission for us to put down the masks, because you know those masks that have been protecting us are actually suffocating us. It's permission for us to just come back to our truth. So next we move on to O, own your energy. I've heard people say over time, I love what I do. I love the people I work with. I love my clients. I love the community that I serve. And sometimes I just want to say, you just need to tell your face. Because joy isn't just what you say, it's what you embody. It's so much more than that. It's so deeper than that. Owning my energy has changed over time. It's definitely not the same as it was 5 years ago or 10 years ago. I have to admit that. I will tell you that life and a few rounds with COVID has shifted the way that my energy is. And I realize that's not weakness, that's wisdom. So I've had to change myself, my flow, my energy, and how I work with my energy over time. So that can be simple things. For me, it means that I do my creative work early in the mornings. And I leave some of those emails and things for later in the day. I might do really well with morning meetings, 10 o'clock or 11 o'clock, but not the ones at 3 and 4 o'clock quite so much. But this isn't just about time management. This is also about people management. There are people in our lives who can absolutely drain you. There are people in your life who give you fuel and energy. But there are also those who absolutely drain you. And I bet you're thinking of that one person right now. Owning your energy is about protecting the space. It's protecting from people and practices that pull you into empty. It's about protecting your space so that you can do what you've been called to do in joy. Let's move on to why. I want to talk about owning your energy, just one more part. When you own your energy, something beautiful happens. You create space. Space for creativity, space for clarity, and space for your vision to breathe. So now we move on to why. Yield to your vision. Vision for me is that bigger picture that's inside of you that pulls you forward when life gets tough. It's that inner voice inside of you that is gently whispering, there is more. And it's not a one-time commitment, it's a lifetime commitment to growth. Sometimes I think that we treat vision like a dream deferred. Something for someday, when the kids get older, or when I make enough money, or maybe when I get that promotion. But yielding to your vision is really about stepping into it now. It's not waiting. It's calling you now. Yielding to your vision is not about losing control. It's about trusting the process. Yielding to your vision is not weakness. It's alignment. And that's what my mom did. She leaned on a network of allies who executed a plan that took over a year to build. They moved together in silence, in secret, and they moved our family from one country to another, from violence to safety, to a place of security, to a place of new beginnings, to a place of hope. They were ordinary people. They weren't wealthy. They weren't TikTok famous. They were everyday people. They were the Underground Railroad of her life. And they moved with trust and courage and commitment. And I've asked myself, why would people do that? Why would they risk themselves? Because the words imminent danger come to mind here. And it would be easy to say, well, they were her friends, they were her neighbors. But it's deeper than that. My mom had the type of joy that was transferable currency. And when it was shared with everyone around her, it became a societal force. So what if we thought about joy as a strategy? Because burnout drains economies, but joy builds resilience. Division weakens communities, but joy builds trust. Exclusion disempowers, but joy restores agency. So what if we use joy as our strategy? Joy is not settling for survival. Joy is defiance in the face of despair. What if we use joy as a strategy to rebuild fractured communities? What if we use joy as the lens through which we could see the greatest issues of our time: equity, empowerment, and justice? What if we, individually and collectively, stood together in joy? And when we stand in joy, we can face and address the greatest issues of our time and change them. Thank you.